come.
With Joe and Kamala at the helm, you're not going to have to think about the crazy things they said every day.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to excuse me.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day.
I'll do what he's unable to do. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Who doesn't love a yellow school bus, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right? Just, there's something about the, and most of us, many of us went to school on the yellow school bus, right?
You got the vaccination?
Yeah.
Are you okay? I mean, you seem, no, it works. Or you know, or the mom and dad. Or the neighbor.
Remember Venn diagrams, those three circles, right? And then let's just see where they overlap.
Or when you go to church, or when you're, no, I really mean it. There are trusted interlocutors. Think of the people.
He sees the Venn diagram of it all. He sees that there are those circles, and maybe people seem that they're a little different. They live in different parts of the country. They may be different age or different race. But that area in the middle, that overlap.
If your kid wanted to find out whether or not there's a man on the moon or whatever, you know, something.
I asked my team to do a Venn diagram of where these attacks are happening. So voting rights, women's reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights. And of course, there was a huge intersection.
Or, you know, whether those aliens are here or not.
I asked my team to do a Venn diagram for me of where we are seeing attacks and who are the attacks against, and the similarity.
Exponentially.
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 Exponentially. Exponentially.
Exponentially.
Exponentially. Exponentially.
Exponentially.
Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially.
Exponentially.
Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponential. Exponentially.
We are expanding access to transportation. Seems like maybe it's a small issue, it's a big issue. You need to get to go, and need to be able to get where you need to go to do the work and get home.
No matter what their cost, 2, 10, 12, 15, oops, stepping on it's black, anyway.
I think everyone here recognizes how extraordinary space is. Whether it is satellites that orbit the Earth, humans that land on the moon, or telescopes that peer into the furthest reaches of the universe. Space is exciting.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing.
Governor and I, and we were all doing a tour of the library here, and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time when we think about a day in the life of our children.
Exponentially.
Exponentially. Exponentially.
Exponentially.
Exponentially.
Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponentially. Exponential. Exponentially. 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 I mean, exponentially.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one, the only, Chasing Dissent Live, Friday nights, all in with John and Ben.
Welcome to my party, we're just getting started. A life is a dream or a nightmare scarring. Hand me a drink cause I think I'm going all in. Get me a shrink who can catch me when I'm falling. Cover up my scars, flip the handlebars. Crashing in my car, wake up in a bar. I'll be a superstar, just on my avatar. This world is so bizarre, empty out the reservoir. Yeah, I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? Sometimes you need to let loose, grab juice, get goose, tattoos, taboos, get screwed. Loosen up, buttercup, all those hate comments will never make you feel enough. We're all adequate graduates, hearts full of calluses, but we know calculus. Damn, ain't that fabulous? Can't wait to apply all those mathematicus. But we can't get a job that pays us enough. I'm about to pop off. Fuck you, you're lost. We all know that we never really want a boss. So I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. Yeah, I'ma do what I want to, something I can't undo. I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me? I'm taking 6 shots, yeah, straight to the face. And I wanna get lost, I'm sick of this place. Don't know how to stop when I'm feeling this way. So I'm taking 6 shots till I'm feeling okay. I think I'm going crazy, don't think I'll get home safe. So I'm taking 6 shots all straight to the face. I'm taking 6 shots, are you coming with me?
Yo. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good, mate. How you doing?
The high energy of that intro right down to the low energy of me.
Yeah.
And if only they could have seen us just now.
Yeah.
If only they could have just seen us right
No.
now. Well, good evening, John.
Good evening, Ben. How are you?
Well, I'm as good can be, running on 2 hours sleep, but yeah, I'm pretty good, you?
Yeah. Don't know if I should put my light on. Are you getting any interference on my pic? Or is it all right?
I'm just having a look. See how you look on the stream. You look pretty good. But Shalini says, Ben the Bellboy with a lot of laughing faces. I look exponentially good. No.
Exponentially. And what is Kamala's weird obsession with Venn diagrams? What's all that about? Did she watch Did she watch a Feynman lecture or something? It's just bizarre.
I'll tell you what Kamala's obsession with Venn diagrams is. I know exactly what it is.
Go on.
The only thing she knows how to use as a visual aid for her bullshit.
I think you could be right. You could
I could be right as well. But, I could be wrong, but it's just my opinion. As we always say, you don't have to believe what we say. You just make your own decision. But I'm just telling you my thoughts, and my thoughts are Kamala produces a Venn diagram of bullshit on an hourly basis.
So there's a few things to address in the chat already. First of all, good evening, everyone. Secondly, what did you drop your pork pie on, Andrew? Did you drop it in the house? Surely it's okay, unless the dog got it.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah,
No.
I mean, come on.
Do you know what? I'll actually tell you about my dinner. What did you have for dinner?
I'm addressing the chat room just now. Secondly, how long have we been running that intro? All year?
8 minutes.
What? No, but all year?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vaughn's just noticed there's a disproportionate amount of dwarfs in it.
Yeah. Oh, hello there, Ninny D. She's addressing us directly. Shalini says, hi, Jaipo.
Hello. Hello.
I'll tell you a little bit of a story before I tell you
I've got
about my
pictures
dinner.
for you, Shalini.
Yeah, he does. He
I've
does.
got
He has
pictures
pictures for you.
You'll like them.
Hi there, Shalini. I see you. But I was in Asda earlier on, right? And I'm minding my own damn business, hobbling around in my own little world, and all of a sudden, like a man following me down a dark alley.
I tell you exactly what it'd be like. It would be like Pooh appearing from the 100-Acre Wood.
Yes, Winnie the Pooh appearing from the 100-Acre Wood. There he was, right in front of me, Spencer.
Dun, dun, dun. Honey dribbling from his lips.
I was terrified, absolutely terrified. He pops out. I jumped out my skin, broke my leg. You know. No, I'm just kidding. It was nice to see him though, and I know he's in the chat tonight. So hello there, Spencer.
And our condolences to you.
Our condolences to you, and we will say no more. But yeah, it is what it is, and we hope everything and everyone will be okay. Hi, Spencer. He says evening, chaps.
Good evening. Right. So,
right.
Where do we start?
Dinner. We start with dinner.
Right. Tell me about your dinner then.
So I got my wife an 11-litre 2-shelf air fryer with an automatic rotisserie in it as well, so you can do a rotisserie chicken in it, right?
Okay.
From Asda, it was reduced from 100 quid to 69. So I got her that today, because she wanted a bigger air fryer and one with multiple places, because she didn't want to keep putting, like a mishmash of stuff in our little air fryer and trying to fry it all together. You
do know that an air fryer is basically just a small fan oven.
Yeah, and also.
Yeah, okay.
So I baked 2 potatoes in my air fryer, right? And it took about 40 minutes less than it does in the oven, and it came out perfect.
Did it really?
Oh, perfect.
Do you parboil your potatoes?
Absolutely not. When I'm baking them, I literally prick them. I soak them slightly in water so that they've got something to absorb. You put them in and you leave them. You don't open the door. You don't do anything like that. You just let them absorb the heat for about an hour and 10 minutes in the air fryer at 200 degrees C. Crispy skin, light, fluffy interior. Mwah! And I don't appreciate people who don't eat their jacket potato skins. You eat your skins.
All the toxins are in the skins. Eat the skins up, chaps.
There's no toxins left after that kind of roasting.
Yeah, there is. So Vaughn says that Shalini boiled the chicken. Did she not just poach it? Is that maybe what she did?
Oh my God. I mean, I can understand boiling the carcass so you can reduce it for stock, right? I can understand that.
But you can poach a chicken.
Yeah, I know, but it tastes horrid.
No, it doesn't. Not if you do it in stock.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't. You're just not an accomplished cook. I thought you were. I'm disappointed in you.
No, I am an accomplished cook, and that's how I know a boiled chicken tastes like shit.
Well, there you go.
Adam says he had KFC. He's come so far from being a vegetarian just a few months ago. I'm proud. I am proud that I continually told him to eat meat until he did. I feel some responsibility there.
Okay.
Ninny D agrees. Boiled chicken is bad.
Okay. I'll tell you. Wait till you've tasted my poached chicken.
No. You can put it on my plate and I'll go, no, thank you.
Okay. So where do you want to start tonight?
Let's start with the moron, shall we?
Peels of the moron.
Yes, Peels of the moron.
Tell me about Peels of the Moron then. Have you seen his
video? Have you seen the full episode yet of it's Trigonometry podcast here on YouTube, right?
I couldn't watch a full episode of Piers
But
moron.
the thumbnail is just a giant picture of Piers with the words "I was wrong."
Yeah, I couldn't watch a full episode of Piers moron. That'd be almost as bad as watching Jeremy Vile.
I haven't watched it. I was hoping you had, so you could give me some insight.
You asked me to put it on the list, and you've not watched it.
I've watched the 7-minute clip.
Well, that's enough. And really, enough. I mean, big deal, Piers. You're still a moron. You're still wrong. And you still went off on one when you shouldn't have, and you didn't look at the science because, newsflash, science didn't change. Didn't change, Piers. You were just fucking completely out of order and completely wrong.
I mean, let's face it.
And he's not said that.
No. Do you know what? I don't know how many times I have to say this before actually banging my head against a brick wall. But a model is not science. It's not science. And then when you start doing everything based solely upon models and then say we're following the science, you're lying.
Yeah, you're not.
That's not science. That's a guess. A guess made by a computer based upon factors that you have input into it. So you can manipulate that model. It's not data. It's bunkum.
If you put the wrong figures in, you're going to get the wrong result out. You know, it'll never be right.
Absolutely right.
What is it they say? Garbage in, garbage out.
Absolutely. And do you know what? That's why when you look at the old CT lot, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Or CC lot, whatever you want to call them, the Greta Thunbergs of the world.
Yeah.
Everything, all of their doom mongering, all of their predictions are based upon models. And you go and look at their models and predictions over the last, let's say, 50 years. And we did a video about this specifically and exclusively about this. They've all been 100%, John.
100%, Ben. 100% wrong.
Wrong, yeah. They've not got a single thing right. And yet, you want to destroy your lives? You want to impoverish yourselves? You want to take away your ability to, like, I don't know, switch the lights on? Based upon these people who repeatedly 100% get everything wrong? Are you mad? Are you crazy? But then again, the Gretas of the world, what? They're influential, and I don't know why. I honestly don't know why.
Because they've been put in a position of being influential. Chris, I'm beginning to sound like Joe Biden.
I'm just saying, before I go ahead and nuke my entire lifestyle and nuke my kids' future, I need to see some damn proof. And your models are not that.
Shalini's been out of the loop for way too long. Adam hasn't been a veggie for months now.
No, yeah, it's my fault. It's exclusively my fault. It's great. You know what? I did the boy a service.
It must be at least 2 months.
And do you know what the great thing about it is? We managed to get his wife turned as well.
Yeah. None of them are veggie anymore.
I'm just saying, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. They're not the first people I've done this to.
Anyone that's got half an idea of good eating and healthy eating is never going to be a veggie.
He's winking at us. Look, he's winking at us in the chat. You're welcome, Adam, because I bet you enjoyed that Kentucky Fried Chicken tonight. I bet you enjoyed every bite of it, and you should enjoy it.
So, what did you think about Piers then?
Why has he done it? Because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to fall out of relevance.
Yeah.
So he sees the way the winds are blowing, and he's sailing along with it. And then what they'll end up doing is they'll either do what Piers has done and say, "Well, the science was wrong, so I was wrong," and he doesn't really apologize. He does admit that he didn't do his job as a journalist. I will say that. He did admit that he was not able to be skeptical because of emotional ties to the situation. Yeah, and if you're not able to be...
So the translation of that is he didn't do his job as a journalist because he shat his pants and he was scared.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, if you're that far attached to the situation like that on an emotional level, then maybe you should step aside and maybe you should let somebody with a level head take charge. And if you can even, and I imagine he could see at the time that he was acting like irrational like that. Because there were people like Dr. Sushrit Bhakti and Professor John Ioannidis of Stanford University, the man that I first listened to, who pretty much got everything right, I might add, Mr. Ioannidis, who could have gone on Piers' show, who could have given a level-headed review of the actual data that they had collected, not models, data, but they wouldn't have them. They cancelled them. They censored them. They silenced them, and this is an issue. And you know, Piers admits that, but then he says, "Oh, if it happens again, which is not going to happen in his lifetime, I don't think. If it happens again, I'll do things differently."
Why wouldn't it happen again, though? It was really successful.
I don't know.
Did you not think it was successful, looking at it from a government control point of view?
Yeah, looking at it from a government control point of view, all it did was prove to them that people will do exactly as they are told when injected with a teeny tiny bit of fear. They'll even walk on arrows around supermarkets.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I mean, they will.
The whole thing is just sick, absolutely sick. And you know, remember, 90% of it was the people. The people allowed this to be done to them.
No, they didn't allow it to be done to them, mate. They did it to themselves.
Well, they did it to themselves. In fact, some of them are still, I mean, that tweet I sent you this morning, some of them are still like, govern me harder. You know, give me more government because, you know, I want to be authority opposed on me, you know. I don't want to be allowed to make my own decisions and to look after myself because I'm not capable of doing it because I live in a nanny state.
Well, let's face it, especially in the Western world, many people aren't capable of doing it. Many people aren't capable of making their own decisions for themselves. And I don't say that to be mean. I say that because of what I observed over the last 3 years. I observed it. We all observed it. You know, the core message that I would always turn around and say to people was this: use your eyes. And that's what I kept saying. Remember all my videos when I went around to government facilities? I was saying to people, where are all these, I can't say that phrase here on YouTube, by the way. It's a banned phrase. I will say that. But I would say, where are all the and I would say, use your eyes, people. Just look around. Can you see death in the streets, destruction? No, you can't. Just look. Your eyes weren't lying to you. Your government certainly were, but your eyes weren't. No. That's all I can say.
So for those that are new to the Friday night show, because our numbers are starting to creep up. And I know William was asking if any of his tweets are on tonight. We don't show tweets on a Friday night because we just have a chat. And we chat about everything that's gone on and things that have maybe happened today or not, or maybe
and things you suggested in the chat.
You would have got a tweet copying you in because you've been featured in the last week. And this is just an invite to all in. If you want to talk about anything in particular, fire it in the chat. Yeah. And look, cars with a mask on and on their own.
I saw so many of those people. I saw one in the Morrison's car park about a week ago.
Yeah, I do get drunk. But it's Friday night, doesn't everyone? Aren't you all having a little libation? What's your libation of the evening? Mine's Old Speckled 10.
Mine's Red Bull. Red Bull. I was thinking about getting a libation, but then I thought, me and John were actually discussing this in our morning meeting. And if you go and watch last week's show, for the first 45 minutes, I was pissed out my tree. I was pissed out my tree for the first 45 minutes of last Friday's show.
Yeah,
I don't drink. I'm teetotal. So the second I get like a tiny drop of alcohol in me, I'm like, ooh. So I thought about it, and do you know what I thought about getting, John?
What?
I was staring at a bottle of vodka earlier.
No, don't go down that route, mate. What, vodka and Red Bull?
No,
just vodka?
I like vodka. Yeah.
Oh no, don't go down that. Oh, good grief! William Scott says he's sniffing glue. That's what it's come to. When glue becomes cheaper than alcohol, you know things are wrong.
Yeah,
it's Old Speckled 10. Yes, indeed it is.
You know what? It's just a shame you can't get proper gripe water anymore. Because when times were tough, you went and got pissed on gripe water, didn't you? Let's face it.
Can you not get gripe water anymore?
Yeah, but gripe water's got no alcohol content anymore. It used to be pretty much like 90% proof at one point, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can't get alcohol-based gripe water anymore. You get something called gripe water, but you couldn't get pissed on it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Adam's either harder than I am.
What?
I said that with a straight face. Adam's either harder than I am, or he's tighter than I am, in that he buys 6.5% alcohol, so he doesn't need to drink as many of them.
I think they're the same price.
Yeah, but you get pissed quicker with 6.5% alcohol than you do if you're drinking 4.5.
I think the Guinness I was drinking last week was like 6.5%.
No, fucking Guinness is never 6.5%.
No, yeah, it was a Guinness.
Guinness
It was a great
Guinness is a girly drink. Anyway, where are we? What about Boris then? Did any of you people watch Boris?
No.
No, you're not people. I'm speaking to the troll room. Any of you people in the chat room watch Boris?
4.2%.
I told you.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey, I wish I'd done that button now, because fucking told you so. I was right again.
We're going to make that button. Don't you worry about that.
Mm-hmm.
William Scott says, what about Scooter Boy Hamza? Do you think the moral fix is in?
Well, come on. Right, I mean, who else are they going to pick? They're going to pick the wee free? No. Nobody's going to pick the wee free, right? They're going to pick the other one that nobody can remember her names, but who is slightly ginger. Ash. Is it Ash? Yeah, Ash Reagan or something. Nobody's going to pick her. So all these idiots are going to pick Hamza, or the vote's been fixed. Because people have been asking if they can go online and change their vote, and the SNPC, no backsies. No.
Andrew says, no, who was in the chat just now? Hey, we saw Bojo. Andrew says he saw Boris Johnson. Was it any good? Was it entertaining? Was it revealing at all? That's the question. Was it just a load of shit?
Did he convince you? That's the question.
Did he convince you of what?
That he was genuine.
Adam says Boris got angry at one point.
Got angry. I'd be like
and
being
Spencer
savaged
says,
by a sheep.
Sorry, speaking over you there, John.
Sorry.
Spencer said, I had better things to do than watch Boris. I was engrossed in watching some paint dry.
Nah. Right, okay. So the two pilots that brought down the US drone got the Order of Courage last week.
They did, didn't they?
They got medals, yeah.
They got themselves some medals.
Saw them getting pinned on by the old Defense Ministry of Russia. Yeah, pinned on. You take these medals, lads, for bringing down that drone. You effectively made your plane piss on it, and it shat itself and dived into the ocean.
You dump diesel very well, comrade.
Kerosene. Anyway.
Kerosene, yes.
So, but not to be outdone, what does Britain do today? So Britain flies a fucking reconnaissance plane across the Black Sea, with a two fighter jet escort. Why? Why are we doing this?
Talking to Russian bear. No.
Okay, so why are we doing this?
Talking to Russian bear, comrade.
But it's not our fight. Why? I mean, I can't get my head around this. I really can't, because at every opportunity they are poking the Russians, and we're doing it.
You know why we're doing it. You know why we're doing it. Come on. The military-industrial complex is a money-making machine, and that is why we are doing it. Remember, after each world war, you have a financial reset, and for God's sake, we need one.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's true.
I can see this coming a mile off. Now, obviously, people go, "Oh, we'll conspiracy theorists," right? You can call me that. I don't care. But the thing is, like John said, this is not our fight. This has never been our fight. And I don't like this rhetoric that Ukraine are are the ones on the front line fighting for democracy in the West. What does that even mean?
Well,
what does that mean? It's not true.
It's back to like Vietnam and North and South Korea. We're back to that. We're back to the domino theory, aren't we? Really? You know, it's like, oh, if Vietnam falls, then they'll all fall and they'll all become communist. And then, well, so fucking what? What difference?
Russia's not even really a communist country anymore, is it? Let's face it.
Yeah, I know, but we're talking about what was happening in the old days. You know, when the Vietnam War was on. So big deal. What if they did become communist? What impact was that really ever going to have on America? Because they weren't on America's borders. Nobody's ever threatened their borders. Nobody's ever stood right on the edge of them and said, you know, well, apart from the Cuban Missile Crisis, which was dealt with very swiftly, wasn't it? If I can back off, you know, I can't remember who it was. Was it Khrushchev? Back off, Khrushchev, or you'll get nuked. And they did, you know. But that's how America treats people that put bases right next to them. And yet, when we put bases right next to Russia, they're just expected to put up with it. Now, I'm not saying what Putin's doing is right, but I can understand what he's doing because America's been doing this for freaking 70 years.
Now, I'll say it. I've said it 100 times on this show. I'll say it again. There is no good guy in this situation. There is no good guy. Okay? And, you know, thinking about things like Vietnam, I don't want to see the same situation occur here in America, in other countries that this is absolutely nothing to do with. And you see, you know, mothers, fathers, brothers, sisters losing loved ones. And for what? You know, going to fight, to die. For what?
Yeah, well,
it's
right,
it's not our fight.
I mean, you can understand what the Ukrainians are fighting for. You can understand what the Russians are fighting for. Okay, because they're both fighting for their own interests. And Russia believes that it's protecting the people in the east of Ukraine, who are generally Russian-speaking people, who very much get on with Russia and want to be part of Russia. In fact, had elections, whether they're rigged or not, the elections all said that they wanted to be part of Russia and Crimea and all that. So you can understand what Russia's doing there. You can understand what Ukraine's doing because they're saying, well, we just want these Russian separatists out, right? So they've been bombing the Donbass because those people have been separatists, which they say were been backed by Russia for the last, you know, since 2014. So they've been shelling the Donbass. They've killed 14,000 civilians since then. Ukrainians have killed 14,000 of their own people fighting against their own people. So and Russia
this is why I
steps
turn
in.
around and say there is no good guy.
Yeah, exactly. There is no good guy. Now you can, and then you can understand what your average Ukrainian who lives over in the West, who speaks Ukrainian and doesn't really mingle with Russia, then thinks the Russians are horrible invaders. But what's happened now is we've got to the point where they've been so propagandized and so conditioned that they're calling Russians orcs and dehumanizing them. And what happens when you dehumanize your enemy? What happens? It becomes much easier.
It makes them easier to kill.
Makes much easier to deal with them, doesn't it? And that's why people do it. That's why they do it. And that's why the Germans did the similar thing, and we do similar things with the Germans, and we did the similar thing in Vietnam and Afghanistan. You know, I mean, I probably can't use the terms because we'll probably get banned, but we did it just as much as anyone else does it. So don't think we're any better than they are, because one man's war is another man's, you know, freedom fighter or whatever. One man's terrorist, another man's freedom fighter. Yeah. So you got to look at it from both sides, and it's really difficult to look at it from both sides dispassionately. But this in particular is not our war, and we don't need to be in it. In fact, we shouldn't be in it, because all we're doing is prolonging. We're prolonging the agony. Yeah.
And, you know, at the end of the day, I've always said, and William is quite new to this show, so I will repeat my rhetoric that I would usually espouse. I don't believe that anybody who wants power is a good person, right? So anybody who wants to be near power should not be near power, in my opinion. And I don't think that there is a state leader that is trustworthy, with safeguarding your rights and safeguarding your interests over their own.
Yeah.
I don't think you can trust any of them.
Well,
But
sorry.
But in this particular situation as well, I just think it's so bloody egregious that we have people within our state, you know, that twat Elwood goes on TV repeatedly and basically says, we are at war. We are at war.
Yeah.
Well, no, we're not.
Sunak's just as bad.
Hmm.
And the other, I mean, as you know, I am with Ben on this one because I have always said anyone who actively seeks office should be disbarred from holding it.
I agree.
You know, they shouldn't be allowed to. Because that you see what happens with political office. All you end up with is fanatics in positions of power, and they usually are the extreme people from one end or the other. You know, and that's all that happens.
Mm. And with that, we could move on to that, Adam, actually, if you'd like. He says, can we talk about our beloved king not being able to visit his favourite French vineyard? I think it's disgusting that all those people are protesting about having to work until they drop. Don't you?
Well, I don't think it's really just about the pensions. I think this is the French now kicking off after the last 3 years.
Yeah, because, well, they started to, didn't they, during the fact?
They've been in and out of it. They've been in and out of it, but this is them really going for it now because all these pent-up frustrations over the last few years, pardon me, are now coming out. And they're coming out big style. I mean, I saw a video this morning of Paris this morning, and bloody hell, it looked worse than Kiev. In fact, Kiev doesn't look that bad.
Did you read your messages, John? I sent you a message a little while before the show. Did you read it?
When do I ever read my messages?
Okay, I will pose the question to you here and now, John. Right? Obviously, you know that at the beginning, a certain date in the first few days of April, I am otherwise engaged.
Oh, something about the 5th. You said Paris on the 5th.
If they're still going, I'm up for it. You up for it?
I don't think I can make it now.
I'll jump in the car and I'll drive to Paris.
I've got too much going on here.
Okay, but I'm up for trying to... I was thinking, maybe I get one of them, you know, them pacing tables, right? And I get one of them pacing tables and a chair, and I just sit down and try and do a show whilst they're rioting behind me.
And you could put, like, Macron est le cochon, change my mind in French.
Yeah, yeah. Just try and do something like that. If I can afford it, I'm well up for that. Just live streaming, sitting there in Paris with them rioting behind me, seeing how long I last.
Right, so the Kings had to, the MSN have had to acknowledge the French rioting because that's why the king, that just sounds fucking wrong. I mean, old sausage fingers, Charlie talks to plants. I mean, really? The king.
Oh, Beatrice, my beautiful ficus.
Do you not feel like you're in a bit of a fucking Game of Thrones episode? The king.
It's lovely to have seen you grown this last season.
My sausage fingers. The sausages of the king's hand.
I used to have normal sized fingers until I started playing with poisonous plants.
Maybe that's what Camilla sees in him. These big sausage fingers.
Oh. I don't know what he sees in her.
Oh, I tell you, I mean, there is a woman who, if ever needed a good iron, it's her.
Oh.
Straighten out some of these wrinkles, doll. We'll give you a good ironing.
As you can tell, we are no fan of the monarchy.
Oh, Spencer isn't he? Spencer's a royalist.
I hope not. I hope not.
Right. So anyway, where's the king's son, the prince?
Which one?
The one that's on the foreign pegging tour.
Oh, what?
He went on a secret tour, didn't he?
Is he touring? Is he touring the saunas of the world?
No, I think he's in Poland.
Oh!
I think he's on a Polish pegging tour.
Oh.
I mean, the royal family's just a fucking joke now. Really, they are. What would you do? What would you do with them? I mean, we got to get Henry back. I mean, that boy really needs to get back. He needs to get back on the show and start reading because he's pissing me off.
You need to talk. You need to talk to him before I start. You know, I start sending him.
Send the boys to him.
So, yeah. Well, speaking of sending the boys, there's over twice the viewers there are the likes. John, get them on the phone.
Oh,
get them on.
Well, I'll tell you what. We'll just get the other prince to send him a peg.
Oh.
You behave yourself, or this is coming for you. Get a peg out.
Yourself, boys.
Where's me peg?
And if you're enjoying the show thus far, then please don't forget to click the link in the chat to go to the Rumble channel and subscribe over there, just in case we have to continue over there. We are live over there right now as well. He's getting out a bottle of wine by the looks of it. Oh, no, he's not.
Could be a peg.
That is very... I was going to say, it's very concerning. And if you are able to support us further, you can do so by becoming a monthly subscriber at patreon.com/Chasing Dissent, or indeed Ko-fi, ko-fi.com/Chasing Dissent. You can make a one-time donation at paypal.me/dislinks, or Chasing Dis links also in the chat.
I don't think Shalini's seen Henry. Because she says...
No, because she...
No, you will have that god-awful woman with him. No, Henry comes on our show alone.
Henry comes on our show by himself.
Yeah.
Teresa says, am I the only sober one tonight?
Well, probably, but
hello?
Why? Yeah, you don't count. Why are you sober? It's Friday night.
What do you mean I don't count?
Why are you so bright tonight? What have you done?
Do you like it?
I'm reserving
you can really
judgment.
See the blue as well, can't you? You can see the blue. You can really see the blue
popping.
light.
The blue's popping.
It is popping. It's popping wonderfully. They would only see the pop if you put me full screen so that they can see the whole image right there.
Oh my God, it's such a...
Yeah.
You're so vain.
Look.
You probably think the song is about you.
I'm so vain.
So, I just see on this fine screen picture of Ben, remember, we can be supported. If you feel the need, to give us some
I already
love.
gave them all the stuff. I just did the small print. Really, I just did the small print.
Oh, in the troll room, yeah, yeah.
No,
but
I just told them everything.
Yeah, that's
right,
fine. But I'm just saying to them, look, we haven't had a donation for a little while actually. Since we got our joint PayPal account, we've not had much to put in it.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
Right.
Well, I can now see your big me on the screen. Yeah, I do look great, don't I? I look fantastic, actually.
Get a wee bit of bag under your eye. Nothing like my suitcases, but you know.
I tell you, that's what happens when you're on 2 hours sleep, John. That's what happens.
Oh, Teresa's been overindulging. That's why she's sober. She's on the dry out phase.
Oh. And Harold just suggests people smoke a bowl. I mean, I'm not going to suggest people do that. But, you know, whatever floats your boat, my friend. But I will neither condone or condemn your personal decision as to what you do with your own damn body. So, just don't harm anybody else.
So back to are we going back to Ukraine?
Do we have to?
Well, yeah. Well, we don't need to. But I tell you what, we will go back to. We'll go back to NATO briefly, right?
Mm.
Turkey's in NATO, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know that America won't sell them F-16s. You know, fighter planes. The ones that Zelensky wants, he won't give them either.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
They won't give Turkey F-16s, so guess what Turkey's buying?
What are they buying?
Su-27s. From who? From whom? From whom are they buying these planes? They're buying them from Russia! You can't make this shit up, can you? So the sanctions are really biting hard, aren't they?
Do you think Putin goes and sits in his office every day and just goes,
if I was Putin, I would be sitting there every day because wait till you hear this, right? Wait till you hear this. So how long the sanctions been applied now? A year? Yeah?
It's a year, yeah.
Yeah. Who's the 3 biggest importers to Russia? Well, who do you think they are? Because the sanctions have been applied.
One of them's going to be the United States.
No, it's not. It's not. The 3 biggest importers to Russia. Now, I'll give you one guess.
China?
No, China's not in the top 3.
China's in the top 3 for everyone.
No, not for Russia. The 3 biggest importers for Russia at the moment are Germany, number 1, Italy, number 2, and number 3 with 46.7 billion, Poland.
So what you're telling me is they really like their cars, their pizza, and their knockoff vodka.
So what the fuck? I mean, why is Poland wanting to go to war with Russia when they're their biggest customer? What the fuck is going on? This is just it's a whole fucking it's just a big scheme, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, it must be. It must be.
It really is. It's literally, what's up?
Breaking news. A Waukesha, Wisconsin school just banned students from singing the song Rainbow Land by Miley Cyrus and Dolly Parton because they believe kids are too immature to hear this song that they claim focuses on controversial issues.
Okay.
The lyrics in question are as follows. Okay. Wouldn't it be nice to live in paradise where we're free to be exactly who we are? Let's all dig down deep inside, brush your judgment and fear aside. That's not a great rhyming structure. Make wrong things right at the end fight.
Super.
What?
Yeah.
I'm just saying this is ridiculous.
Yeah, okay, right. You know what? Don't go and read things out off the news because 1, you get distracted, 2, you're not very good at it, and 3, it kind of interrupts the flow of the show.
All right, go back to your.
Right, come back to us and stop reading shit.
I'm back.
Sometimes I just wonder, people, look what I've got to put up with. Right.
Look what you've got to put up with. Halfway through the show every time you get up and just fucking disappear.
I haven't done that for ages. My bladder control has improved immensely.
Fucking did it last week. By ages, he means 7 days.
Or have I started using tenor? No, I haven't got to that stage yet, people. I'm no Joe Biden.
I was gonna say catheter.
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 I just strap a bottle to my calf.
Oh dear.
Right, so
where is this show going?
Well, I don't know, but where's Sean Penn going?
Well, where is Sean Penn going?
So apparently, if Trump gets in again, Sean Penn's going to leave the country again, right? But he didn't actually leave it the last time, did he?
None of them did.
Yeah. So apparently, if Trump gets in this time, Sean Penn's going to move to Venezuela.
Well, Sean, if you've got a nice big house in the United States going spare, I'll take it.
The man's an idiot. The man is an idiot.
The man has indeed lost his mind. If he even had one in the first place, he's lost it completely over the past couple of years for sure. I mean, is Zelensky still borrowing his Oscar?
Yeah. He lent it to him and said, "You give it back to me when you win." Don't fucking sell it and don't melt it down, you creepy Ukrainian fuck.
He's gonna do both, isn't he? He's gonna melt it down then sell it.
Penn's never seeing that again.
No, Sean, Oscar, it's gone.
Do you think he actually gave him it? Do you think he just said, "Look, I'll pretend to give it to you, but I'm fucking not giving it to you"?
I think even better. I think he gave him a replica.
Aye, probably.
Yeah.
And he probably got it from China.
Yeah. I think the real one is safe and sound back in Casa del Pen.
Back in the
To be
safe.
honest. Back in the safe, yep.
Yeah, I think
He probably goes and looks at it. He probably goes and looks at it every morning and goes, "You're the only achievement I've ever made in my life."
Right. Yeah. So the other thing that you know how we've been pushing the boundaries in the Black Sea this time, but the US, not content with having had their drone knocked out the sky, are now running surveillance flights up and down the Russian border in Finland, which isn't yet a part of NATO, but poke the bear. I watched Blood and Thunder this evening.
You have seen it now. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
Is it it's an absolute load of shite, isn't it? Blood and Honey, this is. It's an absolute load of shite, isn't it?
The girls have all got Liverpudlian accents.
So the 100 Acre Wood is in or around Liverpool, is what you're trying to tell me.
Well, it's English.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
I don't know if Liverpool classifies as English.
Do you know, we could legally make a Winnie the Pooh flick right now.
As long as you don't speak.
He's public domain. He can speak.
Oh, right. You just can't make him wear a blue t-shirt.
You can make him wear whatever you want. You can use the Disney art, right? Winnie the Pooh is public domain.
Right.
He's a public domain character. He entered into the public domain about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So no one holds the rights to Winnie the Pooh, and no one can hold the rights to Winnie the Pooh. So anyone can make. That's why this film exists. But the only one that you can't use at the moment from the Winnie the Pooh lot is Eeyore. Eeyore's still in the hands of Disney.
Is that why Eeyore's dead?
Yeah.
And you only see his tail in the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was quite disappointed. There was only 2 characters in it.
It was Winnie the Pooh and Piglet, from what I understand.
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, because, I don't think Tigger's public domain yet either.
Yeah.
But we could legally, right now, dress up as Winnie the Pooh, go shoot a movie, release it, and get people to pay for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Imagine dressing John up as Winnie the Pooh.
I would be Winnie the Pooh. You'd be Winnie the Pooh. You look more like Xi than I do.
I was going to say, just make you run around with Xi Jinping mask on. Oh dear. Good evening, Suzanne. And Harold says, would you recommend Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey?
Recommends a strong word.
It is. I imagine it is. I tell you what, I can recommend for a little bit of a more light-hearted segment: Star Trek Picard.
Oh, good.
We're now on episode 6 of season 3, and Jesus Christ, it's really, really good.
Or its alternative title: Star Trek: The Next Geriatric.
That's a good one. That is a good one. But you know what? After episode 1, I was a bit shaky.
Yeah, sorry, but it is turning into the next generation.
Full cast is coming.
Nearly everybody's in it now.
Even Michael Dorn as Worf again.
Is Tasha coming back?
I'm not too sure. But
Jonathan
but no,
Frakes is really old.
Jonathan Frakes is really old, but I know he's still fat, but we were talking about this earlier. He's a lot less fat than he was. So I think he tried to get himself in shape.
He's not in bad shape for his age. I mean, he's 70.
No. Is he?
Yeah.
He don't look 70.
That's what I thought. I thought he's doing
he
all right.
He looks fantastic.
For 70, yeah.
Well done, Mr. Frakes. Well done.
I doff my cap that I'm not wearing to you.
I will tell you this. He is fantastic in this season. He is really good. I think he's actually better than Picard. And this is supposed to be a Picard-focused show. But I
don't
think
like Picard.
Jonathan
I don't like Patrick Stewart. I used to like him. I don't like him now.
I have an affinity for, obviously, the character Picard. and the Next Generation. But everybody has to remember anyone who watched Star Trek, the first season of the Next Generation was shit. It was fucking awful. No, you go and rewatch season 1 and tell me you enjoyed it. Right? It is shit.
Encounter at Farpoint.
Yes.
Pilot episode.
Shit. Absolute shite. But
what are we talking about? The Next Generation?
The Next Generation, yeah.
Why is none of these in season 1? Oh, season 1, if you speak
Picard.
about season 1 of Picard. No,
yeah,
I haven't watched season 1 or 2.
Season 2 was worse. Season 2 was worse.
Anyway, let me just quickly put Winnie the Pooh to bed, if I may. You
can tuck him in.
Yeah, I am. So, Cocaine Bear was good. I enjoyed it. It was mindless, light-hearted entertainment. Winnie the Pooh isn't quite as good. It has the kind of feel of a low-budget flick. Some of the characters are shit, right? The acting is the guy acting is just abysmal. Pooh and Piglet are okay because they don't talk anyway, so there's no dialogue there. The effects are pretty good. Gratuitous violence, and
we do like a bit of
not a lot of nudity. I was quite surprised when you see a film. I think that had 6 Liverpudlian girls in it, all in their early 20s. One would have assumed
stereotyping.
One would have assumed you were going to get quite a bit of nudity. We only saw 1 pair of norks and a girl in a bikini. So, in balance, I wouldn't pay for it, but it's probably worth a watch if you get it as some other method. Should there be another method of getting material out there?
So this coming Friday, I'm going to check out and talk about Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Amongst Thieves before the show. So I'm going to see that, I think, at 5 o'clock this coming Friday. That looks like it's going to be just mindless fun. If anybody ever saw the previous Dungeons and Dragons movie, that was terrible. So we shall see that. And I might check out John Wick 4 at some point this weekend.
Oh, I quite like the John Wick movies. But
I love them. I think they're great.
Yeah.
So
right.
I think...
Shall we move back into the list?
We shall. Good result for Stonewall, says William Scott.
Stonewall, what was the result?
Well,
What's Stonewall?
The international... Is it the International Athletics Association have banned transgender
yes,
women
they
from
have.
entering women's sports?
Yes, they have. I think that's only fair. I've downloaded a thing called Utopia. It's a British sci-fi conspiracy based.
I know why you downloaded it.
Yeah.
Was it Suzanne that posted the clip?
I don't know who it was, but I thought I'm gonna have to. No, I think it was Belle or somebody that posted it, but maybe it was Suzanne. I'm not sure. But I'm definitely going to have to watch it because it intrigued me. It did intrigue me. So I shall be watching that. And I'll report back on it.
Please do. We do have a second channel called Adventures from the Swamp. That's what it's called at the moment. You should go and check it out. Go find it. Go and subscribe to it because we do other stuff over there. Real life stuff. Non-political stuff. We talk about the films we like.
Yeah.
We play games. Sometimes we play some Fortnite streams. We just actually be human beings, and you get an insight into the things that we like to do. So if you're interested in that, over you go. Go find the other channel. It's a rip-roaring good time. John still thinks I'm in a cult.
It's in a cult.
He thinks I'm in a cult.
He is in a cult. He takes these weird trips to France all the time, and you know what the French are like. They're always a bit suspect.
Where I go, John, is not France.
It's even more of a cult then, isn't it?
Mm.
So do you share
Andrew
with your
says,
family?
Ben, have you watched Animal Farm yet? Orwell was a lefty. I'm a lefty. Let's face it.
What do you mean have I watched Animal Farm? I've read the book.
Yeah.
Well, why would I watch? I didn't know they'd made a movie out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
you're
is
better
hard
reading the
to-
book. You're better reading the book.
This
when
is
it comes
hard
to
for
Orwell.
people to believe, but I am a traditional left-wing person. For centre left, yeah, but I am a traditional left-wing person. I've just been told that I'm far right by people that don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, but Animal Farm didn't really extol the benefits of being a communist, did it? It just, in fact, Animal Farm should be mandatory reading for anyone who has to deal in any way or form with government. Because you might change your views on government once you've read Animal Farm.
Do you know what? I think that's potentially a reason that this show works so well, because there are times when me and John come at things from a completely different angle, right? And there are things that we totally disagree on each other with. But at the end of the day, we still get in a van and go on holiday together because we're, what are we, John? Adults?
Yeah. And, adults normally are able to converse and have disagreements and discussions.
Yes.
Without falling out with everyone all the time, you know?
Yes, Ninny D, I have just posted the link to the second channel in the chat for you. There you go.
Harold's right, though. I agree with him.
What's that?
Adventures from the Swamp doesn't come up easily. The old name was easy to find.
Yes, well I might change it again. I'll think about it.
Just be careful looking for films called Animal Farm. That's like Two Girls, One Cup. Don't do that at work.
Don't do that. just don't do it.
You don't want to go there.
You will not like the result. Do not do it.
Utopia is not a film, Harold. It's a
season.
It's a series, yeah.
I believe you can get it on Amazon Prime.
I don't know. I get all my stuff off the internet. Yeah, the internet's provide for me.
The internet provides. Hail the internet.
All hail the internet.
All hail the internet.
The science.
Shut up already. It's science.
And it doesn't change.
Oh dear, why is Fetterman trending? Is he dead?
No, because somebody posted something, right? They put out two pictures, one of Fetterman and one of some guy who looks a bit like Fetterman but obviously isn't, right? And said, this is Fetterman from the Dolce base. Right? He's got a longer conical head to give him more IQ. He said his ears pinned back and his face is thinner and longer. I mean, it's not like Fetterman in real terms. But the point is, Fetterman's been AWOL for 5 weeks now, basically. So is he still alive?
I don't know.
I mean, it's a terrible thing if the guy's died, but for fuck's sake, tell us. Or if he's incapacitated, because he was elected to do a job and he's not doing that job. And you know what? Shit happens. People die, people get ill, and sometimes you got to pass the baton on to someone else. In fact, it's going to happen to, dare I say it, everyone at some point. So it might be time for Fetterman to pass the baton on.
So just because I hold traditional centre-left views, by the way, everybody, fuck Labour. Fuck Labour. Fuck the Tories.
We don't like
fuck the Democrats.
We don't like any governments. I think we're anarchists now.
You know what? I think we could be.
I think we are.
I mean, I think this A doesn't mean Avengers anymore.
No, anarchy. But we're
anarchy, baby.
We're not fascist anarchists.
No. No.
I get called an anarchist today, I think.
Do you know
by
what?
that guy that wants to be governed harder because
govern me harder, Daddy.
Because see, this is the part I can't understand. So his point was that you need to be governed because you need to uphold law and order, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how did civilization evolve throughout the years without governments at times? You know.
John, don't bother looking at history, right?
Oh,
you don't even know what you're being told is real anyway.
Sorry.
First of all. because history is obviously written by the victor, as we all know.
And it does imply though that we're not big enough to look after ourselves, and we're not smart enough for us all to in fact there's a thing from history, hue and cry. Hue and cry. You know what that was about? So, if people started stepping out of line in your village or town or your locale, it was your duty to raise a hue and cry about them so as everyone could pick up on it, and you dealt with that person as a group. Now, some might call that mob rule.
I call that communism, yeah.
Yeah, well, but what's the difference between that and telling the police to go and do it for you?
Well,
other than the fact that you don't actually get your hands dirty, what's the actual difference? Nothing.
In real terms, nothing.
Yeah.
Right? In real terms, it's like they tell you things like theft is a crime, and then they tax you half to death, which is just thieving your money. By the way, that's all taxation is.
Mm-hmm.
It's people telling you that we are going to take your money, you are going to give us your money, and if you don't give us your money, we are going to commit violence upon you, because that's what happens when they detain you and take away your liberty and put you in handcuffs and put you in a cell. That's a violent act. So under the threat of violence, these people steal from you, and then they tell you stealing is a crime.
And yet,
it's
and yet the wealthiest nations in the world don't tax their population. Don't pay any tax in Monaco. You don't pay tax in Saudi Arabia. You never paid tax in Libya when it was Gaddafi. In fact, if you were a Libyan citizen under Gaddafi, you had a lot of benefits. If you were unemployed, you got paid the average wage for your occupation as your stipend until you got employed again. Petrol was 14 cents a litre or a gallon, something like that.
Probably a litre.
You know, I mean, everything was not cheap. If you got married, if you got married, you got $50,000 from the government to go and get a house.
I believe I said this on last week's show, but I'm going to reiterate it because I know we have a lot of American listeners that are downloading the podcast, right? And they're listening to this right now. Well, not right now as I speak live, but as you are hearing this, Americans, you lot moan when your petrol goes above like $4 a gallon, right? You moan when it goes over £3.30 a gallon. We're paying that for 2 litres.
Mm-hmm.
We're paying that for 2 litres. Here, try that. Ugh,
yeah, but
sorry.
Petrol's always been cheaper in America, so your point?
Suzanne asked an interesting question. Is it only countries that don't have a central bank that are deemed terrorist states? And that's an interesting question.
This is on the list, Suzanne, and it's a very good question, and I'm glad you brought it up because you've led me nicely into the axis of evil, right?
Ooh,
because it appears that we now seem to be working towards a new axis of evil, don't we? Because we have the countries that are part of the axis of evil, and that's the term the Americans are using, right?
Yeah, so
we have like Iran and Russia and China, and India probably won't be far behind before it gets put in the axis of evil, because all the people all the people that are outside the Western petrodollar are part of the axis of evil.
Yeah, and at some point we're going to have to come along and deliver them some freedom.
I'm going to make a video about America. I mean, I know I've still got the Ukraine one to do, but I'm going to have to do one about America because they just rip my knitting at times. They are so funny.
Spencer says, "Hey Ben, Axis of Evil needs its own jingle."
The Axis of Evil was the Axis powers in the Second World War was Germany, Japan, Italy. Who else?
Basically, the Axis of Evil is anybody America doesn't like.
Yeah, well, of course it is.
Yeah. It's anyone America doesn't like. Now, I would contend that all state governments are evil, but that's just my contention.
Do you think they're inherently evil, or do you think they just become evil once they're elected and in power?
Well, I would say I hope uncorruptible people are vying for power, but it's obviously not true. First of all,
Okay.
But I
Is
honestly
there
think
such a thing as an incorruptible person?
well, an autistic person.
Okay.
I mean, people who know me personally know that I dig my heels in. I hold grudges, and once I've got my mind set on something, you aren't changing it for love or money, or love or blood or honey.
Yeah, this is why I don't think you are really autistic, because you do change your mind all with bloody. You change your mind like your underpants. So,
No.
Don't start giving your pish.
You've never seen what I'm
You do
talking
change your
about.
mind, and when it's pointed out to you where your thinking's gone wrong, you accept it. Yes, you do.
In certain respects.
Yes,
in
you
certain
do.
respects, but grudges.
Oh, you can hold as many grudges as you like. I mean, I hold grudges.
Yeah, but I can't get out of it. Like, I can't get out of that mindset.
Yeah,
at all.
yeah. Okay, right. Enough of you. It's not all about you anyway. It's about the people that we're talking to. Right. So the axis of evil. What's happened to it? I had a thing about it. I had a thing about it.
He's trying. He's trying. Technical would not be a Chasing Dissent show without some kind of technical hitch.
I'm just looking through my notes.
He's got notes. He
Yeah,
does.
I've got
I
some
tell you, I
notes.
tell you what. He does actually make notes for Friday night now. He does. He didn't used to. But he does now.
Pretty much always made notes for Friday night, to be honest. Well, yeah, okay, right. Let's we'll dig back into the axis of evil on Monday, but I'm glad you brought it up, Suzanne, because yeah, the Americans are going right into this. And also, do you notice how they keep saying things like US feels that we might be forced into China's peace treaty? Well, when did it become bad for people to suggest a peace treaty? When did it become bad for people to apply a peace treaty? This is a part I don't
when it's
get.
not good for business.
Well, it's not good for the industrial military complex. I mean, you remember how much the US Department of Defense has asked for to replace the equipment that they've leased to Ukraine.
Leased.
How
can you lease something you know is going to end up destroyed?
Because then you can write it off in your ledger.
Yes,
destroyed equipment, lease forfeited. So, but Ukraine still loses the money.
They do. They do.
So
we say we're going to help launder through FTX. What?
Oh yeah, hey. But yeah. So all that equipment that was sent to Ukraine from not just America, but from the EU and from the UK as well, it's all leased. They're all looking for a bit back. And some of the terms might be a bit woolly, because some of the terms might be that, well, we want to be able to rebuild Ukraine once we've dealt with the war and you need new hospitals and things. It's American companies or UK companies or German companies that's going to build your factories. Because it won't be fucking Ukrainian countries, because if you look at my last video, Ukraine's got nothing left. It's already been raped. Rudely, crudely, and without lubrication by America since 1991. So Ukraine has nothing left to give. That's why they put it up as a war, because they want to rip the place apart. They want to rubblize it so they can go in and rebuild.
They gave their last few scraps of wealth to Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
And 10% for the big guy.
Yeah, but I mean that's what it's all about. And because America's not the people that are coming up with the peace terms because it's not on their terms, then it's not something they want.
So Andrew Lomax asks, is Deutsche Bank going to charge for leopards? No, Deutsche Bank's going to collapse probably within the next 48 hours.
Yeah, Deutsche Bank's got nothing left.
Yeah, there's been a run on Deutsche Bank in the last few hours. It's continuing as we speak.
Yep.
It could even collapse during the course of this show. It is on its way down. It is on its way out. I don't see how it survives. I'm not gonna lie.
And the one thing that I was thinking about this, the one thing that the UK has guaranteed right? By sending depleted uranium shells to Ukraine, or are saying they're sending them to Ukraine.
Do tell me.
Well, they have guaranteed that as soon as any Western tank sets foot on the battlefield, right, Russia's going to target it and take them out. Because Russia will not want depleted uranium all over the fucking land. Because despite how many surveys and things you take from it, putting depleted uranium that vaporizes and goes everywhere, right, increases cancer risks, increases birth deformities, decreases the amount of yield you're going to get from your plants and everything. Getting that shit all over the place. I mean, if you look at Fallujah and you look at, you know, where it's been used, and you look at Bosnia and Herzegovina where it was used in high numbers, and it's not just tank shells, they use it in 25mm machine guns and all that, you know, the vehicle mounted machine guns, they use it in all that as well. And then when they have depleted uranium armor on their tanks, when a depleted uranium round hits a depleted uranium armor, then it just gets even worse.
Yep.
Strangely enough, Russia banned the use of depleted uranium in 2000 because they said it's just too dangerous for the civilian population. Regardless of whether it's a better penetrator or not. Well, it's a better penetrator than, or it's an equivalent penetrator to tungsten, but tungsten's a lot more expensive. But the Russians stopped the use of depleted uranium in their arms in the year 2000 because it's not something that they want on the battlefield. And this is back to where they're fighting, because Russia's fighting on their doorstep when they fight. America's fighting 3,000 or 6,000 miles away from their doorstep. So what the fuck is America doing in the field at all? You know, what's it doing? Okay. It's just getting its fucking big beaky nose in where it's not wanted.
Money. It's money. It's money. That's all it is. It's money. Now, just going back, I was just checking up on the situation. Deutsche Bank's shares have just tumbled 14%.
Yeah.
It's going.
Yeah.
It's going.
Yeah, I think.
Will it be bailed out? Is the question. That'll be the question for the weekend, I guess.
Well, do you think? I think Schultz will bail it out, or he'll try.
Yeah, well,
it's too big to. Deutsche Bank's too big to fail, is it not?
Well, I tell you, like I said, there was a run on it this evening. A few hours ago, there was a run on it, and now the stock is falling. It is falling sharply.
Right. So what's going to happen in Europe? Because
I don't know.
I mean, France is in turmoil. Is Macron going to survive this?
Once again, I don't know. It all depends on whether or not his own protection continue to protect him, really, doesn't it? I would say if he still has a loyal contingency around him, then yes, he will survive. But if, like we often see in France anyway, we often see some police officers taking off their helmets and going to join the protesters and stuff like that. We see that pretty much every year whenever there's protests.
Yeah.
But
we saw the firemen do it today.
Yes.
But
and then I'm also very worried about this.
I saw the firemen doing it when I was out there in the protests, reporting on them. The firemen were there as well. They were driving about in their vehicle and they'd painted the side of it, you know, because they were striking as well to support the protesting.
Which is good.
Yeah.
But what I worry about is these ridiculous things like we were talking about on Wednesday, where he's forcing people to go to work. He's forcing that concerns me. That concerns me greatly. And whether or not people will actually enforce that on his behalf, that concerns me. And like you said, I mean, France is a good example of how when you turn around as a population and just say no, there are still people within your own midst who will stand up and beat the living crap out of you for doing so.
Yeah.
I mean, standing up and saying no, and it seems like such a simple thing to do. But when it's in the face of great adversity, when it's in the face of great pressure and opposition, the easy way is to just agree and to just nod your head. It's a very brave thing to do. Now, I've never said that, right? I've never said that. But, you know, standing up, saying no, putting your head above the parapet and saying this is wrong to somebody in authority, and having those people push back against you, or having people on their behalf attack you physically, mentally, online, whatever. It's a brave thing to do. And I salute absolutely everybody who did it. I really, really do. Over the last 3 years, right now in France, you know, even the people in Ukraine who stand up and say, or in the people in Russia who stand up and say no war. Because you got to remember, there are Russian citizens who hold no war protests who end up getting fucking chucked into jail. Right? Those people, they're brave.
Yeah,
they are brave, brave people. And they are the ones, they're the ordinary people who just see what is wrong, or don't see sense in being told what to do, and don't see sense in, say, putting your life on the line, or putting your family on the line, or putting anything at risk. Right? Those are the people that should be celebrated. They're the ordinary people who just want to get on with their lives and be left alone. And I think everybody here right now in this chat is one of those people.
Yeah, I think they are. Melted Mushroom brings up a good point. And Macron should just have not bothered about it, right? Because by removing it, he drew attention to it massively. So he's wearing a big flashy watch, right? And he took it off when he started talking about austerity and tightening your belts. And of course, everybody's going, "Where's the watch gone?" Stupid thing to do. Think these things out, fucking Macron. You're not that daft, are you? Well, you probably are. Because, like most politicians, you believe in yourself implicitly.
But what they do believe is, you know, and their belief is wrong. They believe that they're in charge. They believe that they are in charge of the population, and that the population is not in charge of them.
I think it's worse than that, mate. I don't even think it's they believe they're in charge. I think they rule. They believe that they rule over you like a serf and master relationship. I believe that's what they actually think.
Well, it is supposed to be a serf and master relationship, but the master's supposed to be the entire population, and the serf is supposed to be their representative.
Yeah, but they don't think like that.
They don't think like that. And the thing is, they lie to their populations and say, "I will do this for you. I will make this work for you. I am here to work for you." They get elected, and then they go and do what all of the nations of the world, mostly, some did not, but very few, all of the nations of the world did to their citizenry over the last 3 years. Right?
Yeah.
They had no right to do any of that to you. They didn't. It's ridiculous. And this is why I say anybody who should be, is seeking power should be absolutely nowhere near power. Spencer says it's just Group A telling Group B what to do. Screw Group A. Yeah, but Group A is tiny. This is what other people have also got to remember. Group A is fucking tiny. Go and watch A Bug's Life.
Yeah, I mean, remember, it only takes 1.5% of the population. That's all I'm saying. It only takes 1.5%. That's all.
You know what? I do hope that the French citizenry succeed. I hope they succeed in their mission. I hope they succeed in their goal of removing a tin pot dictator. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to be balanced, right?
What was
Emmanuel
the first part?
Macron.
Oh yeah.
I hope the French succeed.
Yeah, and Canada's going even worse. I mean, have you seen their online safety bills even worse? Have you seen theirs?
I saw something about it.
Oh, good grief! It's absolutely incredible. They're like, they're bringing it under the regulation of their broadcasting authority, effectively.
Oh yeah, live streaming.
Yeah, live streaming.
Live streaming will become a thing of the past. Like YouTube live streaming will become a thing of the past.
In Canada,
I believe in Germany, I believe in Germany, if you've got more than, I think it's 150 people on the stream, someone must fact check me here on the number because I'm not terribly sure of what it is. But if you have certain amount of people watching a stream, even if you're just a YouTuber and it's consistent, you have to have a broadcast license in Germany. You are not allowed unless you artificially keep your audience numbers below a certain level, and you can do that on some streaming sites, but you can't do it on YouTube.
Right.
But if you are consistently streaming in Germany, and this has been the case for years, by the way, this isn't a new thing. If you are consistently streaming to a larger contingent of people, if you don't have a broadcast license, you are breaking the law.
You can understand the Germans being a bit reticent. Because let's face it, they've had history where people have managed to develop a good following.
Without social media.
That then went awry.
Without social media. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. But what concerns me is this is obviously targeted at people who want to protest or people who want to stream what is really going on, and they're just going to turn around and absolutely screw them, aren't they? They're just
but it
say,
shafts everybody.
Show this.
It shafts everybody. I mean, we're back to we're actually going back in time to like and you'll not remember this, but we're back to like Radio Free Caroline. So you couldn't broadcast without a license in the UK. So they got a boat and took it 12 miles offshore and started broadcasting from there. And I mean, this is the kind of things that people start doing because, you know, why not? We could relocate to Sealand and broadcast from there.
He's not wrong, though. You say I'm too young to remember it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, but you didn't live it. You didn't listen to Radio Free Caroline, did you?
No. Harold says everyone loves pirate radio, and I believe Radio Free Caroline is where the term pirate radio came from.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they were in a boat.
Yeah, they're in a boat. They're in a boat.
I mean, I was in Munich in, early 80s, staying with a guy that worked for the CIA. He worked for Radio Free Europe. And that's still an American-funded organization. It's a CIA front in Germany that broadcasts to Europe. But now they do it on the internet. So at that point, our friend worked for Radio Free Europe, and that was a CIA organization. So I don't think he was a spook, but he was working for them. So, you know, you never know who you're going to meet in this world, do you?
Maybe I should start doing this show without John again. A little bit concerned now. A little bit concerned.
I've had quite a few.
I can tell.
I've had quite a few contacts in my time. The time I took to were they Russian or were they East? No, I think they were East German girls. We took them out for the evening when I was at Stirling Uni. And we ditched their tail. I'm surprised we never got arrested.
See what I have to deal with.
I took them up the Trossachs. Anyway, that's probably a story for another night.
I was going to say, maybe this isn't the right channel. Maybe we need to start a channel on the hub.
Right, anyway, as I was saying at one point, and let's move away slightly from doom and gloom, and let's make it more of a family show, like Joe Biden does, because apparently Ashley's diary has been authenticated.
Look, What do you mean apparently Ashley's diary has been authenticated? It was authenticated the minute the FBI turned up and started arresting people to try and get their hands on it.
Yeah, I know.
That's the minute it was authenticated.
Okay, but the contents of the diary have been authenticated, and you know those parts in it where she said she used to take her showers late at night to avoid daddy showering with her, are quite disturbing.
I'd say so.
That's the leader of the free world.
Yeah,
that's the president, the sitting president of the United States of America. Might be a nonce. Is that what we're saying? Is it?
I mean, how many kids has he sniffed?
Oh my God! He
even got Macron's wife, didn't he? Not Macron, bloody Trudeau.
He went to Trudeau. Yeah, he'd just been to Canada, and you could see him. He couldn't resist, could he? He went in and he went. You could see the inhale. You could almost see the hair being drawn up towards his nostrils.
Smells just like corn pop.
I'm going to say it out loud. I think the guy is a serious sexual pervert. I really do. I don't think he's fit to be president of the United States. In fact, I think he should probably be prosecuted if there's enough evidence, and he should be in jail. Yeah, he's certainly a bigger threat to real people than Donald Trump is.
Yeah, but you got to understand here, right? If you arrested him and put him on trial, he wouldn't know where he was, and he'd just stand at the fucking podium and start giving a presidential speech. Where's my teleprompter? Where's my teleprompter? Okay, he wouldn't know what he's got dementia.
Then if he hasn't got the capability of being arrested, he's not got the capability of running the fucking country. Either way you look at it, he shouldn't be there.
No, he shouldn't be there. He's like, and I think that the very clear dementia that he has been exhibiting since before he went on the campaign trail and started putting a lid on his campaign at 11 a.m. because he needed to have a snooze. Right? I think at that point he should have been disqualified. Yes, 11 a.m.
AM.
Yep. Yeah. Come on, man! Like Adam says, come on, man!
But it's like, I mean, look, we all... I don't know if I can... See, this is how ridiculous it is. We've all had baths with our children, yeah? Right? When they were babies. Well,
I think everybody's bathed their children with them when they were... Yeah.
But you don't keep showering with your kids if you're
No.
But you don't keep showering with your kids once they start growing up, you know.
No,
once
I mean my kids are
doing things on their own. You let them.
Well, yeah. Once my kids are 6 and 9, and we just run the bath for them and dump them in it.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we keep an eye on them. Right, because the bathroom's only next to the living room downstairs, so we just keep the door open and keep an eye on them.
Yeah. No, that's.
But
nobody's questioning your parenting, your mate.
Well, they're still with us, so.
Right. So some have dropped off, but I think drink had taken the toll of some.
Well, you know, within 20 minutes of the show starting, we had Shalini in the chat telling us that Vaughan was snoring.
I know. It's usually the other way round.
Usually is,
quiet as well, though. Shalini's gone quiet.
She's gone for a nap.
She's gone for a nap. Tony's still with us. I can see that. And Andrew.
Yes. Yeah, well...
hang in there, Andrew, because there's more coming about that.
About what?
About what you mentioned earlier. Right. What about... Right, so you're back to your people who are... who see themselves as truthers, putting things up and misleading people again. Things like...
St. Peter's.
No, I'm not on there yet, but I'm on CV Act Extended, right?
Right.
Okay. No, it wasn't. It was extended in Northern Ireland. But that's not the UK, you know?
Yes.
So you got to be specific when you're saying these things, people, because if you look at... I mean, I went through the Scottish one today, and the Scottish one all expires on the 1st of April.
If Hamza has anything to do with it?
It might not. But I mean, most of it's either expired or about to expire, right?
TV Act expires today. Oh wait, April Fools!
No, it's not the 1st of April. When? In fact, I think most of it expired yesterday, to be fair.
Anyhow.
But anyway, so you've got to be careful when you look at these things, because just do not take them as read. Really don't. And it's like that thing I asked you about, the Disney thing. Somebody put up about Disney lost 70% of their share value and their and 50% of their attendance, and that's not the case. Their attendance is now higher than it was in 2019. So they've come back and slightly improved on pre-pandemic levels, right?
Yeah, so,
that's building every day. But yeah, I know you're going to. I'm not interested in your reservation system. They're now.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Right? But they're now at pre-pandemic levels, and it's still getting bigger every day, right? So their attendance isn't that bad. And
the Parks and Resorts division is the most profitable it has ever been.
Yeah, and their share price, yes, it has dropped, but over a year, i.e. comparing this year with last year, it's down 31%. So that's just another erroneous statement, isn't it?
Well, it is an ironic statement, and what people don't seem to understand is Disney is a whole mesh of companies, right? There's a whole load of companies built into Disney, and Parks and Resorts division is its own thing, and it generates money for the main company, absolutely, but it is the most profitable it has ever been.
Yeah.
Right now, they are losing money hand over fist at the moment, but that's because of their poor content decisions, shall we say? On the other side of things, Parks and Resorts is way up. Attendance is way up, as John said. And I mean, when I went in January to Disneyland Paris, I couldn't move. It was heaving. Now, when I went a few weeks ago, it was pretty empty. But then those weeks in March always are. So it wasn't something that I was shocked by. And I guarantee you, this summer, especially with now the new Avengers Land fully in full swing, they're going to see the best attendance they've ever seen.
Yeah. The International Criminal Court and its arrest warrant for Putin, and it's right. So apparently, Zelensky has made a deal with them that they are allowed to prosecute things in Ukraine, even though Ukraine is not a signatory to the International Criminal Court, right?
Right.
So they're allowed to investigate and prosecute things that have happened allegedly in Ukraine as a result of war crimes and whatever. And one of the things that the International Criminal Court is looking at is the fact that Russia has removed, as the court says, 1,000 orphans from Ukraine and taking them to Russia. Okay. Now, my question, right, is what about Operation Baby Lift? So Operation Baby Lift occurred in 1974, I think it was, when the United States removed 3,300 non-orphaned kids from Vietnam, separated them from their parents, and moved them to the States and gave them to other people to adopt.
But I think that speaks for itself.
With no records. So the kids could never find their actual parents.
No, but that speaks for itself, doesn't it?
I think it does, yeah.
I think if that is the case, then...
But it's okay for Team America World Police to do that.
Because they're delivering freedom.
Exactly. Even though they had been beaten and were fucking fleeing out of Vietnam with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, right. They were delivering freedom.
Moving on, Elon Musk made a tweet the other day, which said something
like... He makes many tweets?
Sorry?
I said he makes many tweets?
Yes, he did, but he said something about AI. Somebody mentioned something about AI, and Elon said, it will be here very soon, or in a few years, right? Now, AI doesn't exist, right? These things you call AI are nothing but fancy programs. There's nothing fucking intelligent about them, right?
No.
And when you look at high-end chips today, so you look at the best processors we've got just now are producing something around the region of 90,000 MIPS, which is multiple instruction things per second or something like that, right? So 90,000 MIPS. And they estimate that the human brain produces 100 million MIPS. So
The best
for
supercomputer
AI...
in the world is inside your own head.
Sorry?
The best supercomputer in the world is inside your own head.
Oh, massively so, right? I mean, computers are nowhere near the capabilities of the human brain. And to say that AI exists in any kind of artificial form is just so far off the mark. It's unbelievably. I mean, it's just, and even people like, and Musk knows this. Musk should know this.
Yeah, of course, of course he does. He's not stupid.
See that sticking a chip in your head thing? That's got to be one of the most stupid things he's ever come up with at this point, because at this point, technology is nowhere near enhancing our capabilities. Nowhere near it.
No. I mean, if you could unlock the full potential of the human brain, that would be terrifying.
It could be, yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it could be terrifying.
I think there's a lot we don't use.
But of course there is. Of course there is a lot we don't use. And like I said, and I'll repeat the statement, the world's best supercomputer is inside your own head. It is, and I think
it is.
At least for the foreseeable future, it always will be.
So speaking about Twitter, right? Here's a thing I'd like to explore, and that's the question of direct messages.
They're going wrong, aren't they?
No, it's not that. It's just that people always say, don't DM me and things like that. Or what usually happens is someone follows you, right? You follow them back. And within like 10 seconds or less than a minute of you following them back, you've got a DM from them.
Yeah.
Now that puts up a red flag straight away. It's like, why the fuck are you stalking me? Right? And then, but the DM is normally something like, hello.
Yeah.
Right? Now, my point is, what the fuck are you trying to convey to me with hello? Right? I followed you back because maybe you followed me and I found your tweet interesting, so I thought, yeah, okay, I'll follow that back. But
yeah,
just fucking DMing me with hello, right, means nothing to me. It gives me no information about you, and it makes me not interested at all in what you're going to say next, right? So my point...
I had a very... Go on.
My point is, if you're going to DM someone you don't know, what you should do is think of it like writing a letter. And you may
what I'm going to do...
What?
What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly I'm going to give an example of a good starter to a DM conversation, right?
Right.
Our Suzanne here in the chat. I received a direct message from our Suzanne. I'd never received a direct message from her before. Hi, Suzanne. And it said, good show last night.
Okay, that's
a
not
good
bad.
way to start.
That's not bad. That's not bad. I think most of my DMs usually, I don't know. I mean, let me see the first DM I maybe sent to Suzanne.
Well, I don't think, Teresa, that Suzanne was after either money or sex when she sent that message. I just hope that she genuinely enjoyed the show. If she keeps coming back, so...
I would say Suzanne gave me a brilliant first DM, right?
Go on, then.
Because this is what a DM should be like when you don't know someone and it's your first contact with them. And it goes like this, right? Hi. I haven't had a chance to watch properly today. I did give it a like. If you want me to give the channel a share, send me a post and I'll happily share it for you. The best traffic is probably in the mornings. Suzanne. I think that's perfect. A good. That was a good DM, right?
Yeah.
And I remember I sent a DM to a lady on the chat called Teresa, right?
Okay.
And she has do not send me DMs in her profile, right? And I sent her a DM saying I'm doing such and such. And I would like it if you'd be so kind as to advise me on something, right? And blah, blah, blah. I'm thinking blah blah blah, and you know, and she replied to me in a very straightforward and respectful manner, right? So you can approach people in DMs. What I'm saying is, think of it like writing a letter. Introduce yourself and state your point. Because if you come at me with hello, or would you like to see my norks, you're going to get blocked.
Yes, I received a DM today, right?
Yeah.
And it went into my message requests box. So I was like, I looked at, saw I got a message request, and I went, it's another one, isn't it? Right? Opened up the DM. It was from a woman with an Asian woman's profile picture. It was probably a 40-year-old bloke named Jeff. But I went and looked at the profile quickly. It seemed to have been created today. It had no followers, and it was following no one. And it said, "Hi, I would like to get to know you and be your friend."
No,
Block.
no, you won't.
No, you don't. No, you won't. Block.
DMs like that, I'd like to answer with, no, you really wouldn't.
Let me. However, right, let me indulge you in a story, and I'm not going to out the person, right?
Yeah.
But I once received a DM. This was a few years ago, from a woman.
Hold on. Wait, it's Suzanne put it in the chat. Right. So I got a DM from a woman that was just simply asking about the test centers and stuff like that. Yeah.
Right? And I could see that she had in her profile that she worked on Babe Station, right? And I'm thinking, uh-oh.
Okay.
I'm thinking, uh-oh. So I go to the account, and it's got 15,000 followers, and it seems to be well established. So I took a chance, and I just started responding to this person. Turned out she was real, got a phone number, talked to her quite often.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah, turns out she, sometimes you can take a chance on what you think of these. And she didn't want to show me her knock. She was just genuinely scared of the situation, right?
But that's what I'm saying. If you want to actually indulge in conversation with someone, give them a little bit of yourself.
Yeah.
Exactly. Introduce yourself and tell them what your point is. Because and the ones that get me are these. I mean, you see some of the girls, they're putting up with these guys that are like, send me nude pics, basically. Send me nude pics or you're blocked. And it's like, what the fuck? I mean, I just don't get it.
You know what?
What?
Do you know what? I mean,
if you want to get nude pics, just go on fucking Pornhub or something. You get it there for free. Why do you need some bird on Twitter to send you something?
Well, that's right. Adam remembers her. She actually used to come to the shows, and she used to talk in the chat. He says we got engaged shortly after.
Yeah,
but like you said, if these people come at you in the right way, like this person did, right?
Yeah.
But if these people come at you in the right way and want to engage in actual conversation, then that's something else. But like what I received today, and I will probably receive again tomorrow, because I pretty much get these on a daily basis. It's like, hello, I would like to get to know you. I used to be popular, John. I used to be popular.
Okay.
Then I disappeared into obscurity. I quite like it here, to be honest.
Right. Did I mention Dark Angel the last time we were
You did.
on? I did?
You did.
Didn't?
You did.
I did. Right, okay.
You did?
Because I wasn't sure if I'd got to that point in the last time. Right, so where are we now? How about Dark Horse?
What, comics?
No. So apparently someone's doing a personnel interview or something like that, or like you're an assessment type thing, and goes, you're a bit of a dark horse, aren't you? To a black person.
Oh.
You can imagine the consternation, the disaster that then occurs, right? So this person gets taken before a tribunal, and the tribunal goes, fuck off. Case dismissed, and quite rightly
good.
so. Yeah, quite rightly so.
Good.
Bloody
Good.
hell, you're a bit of a dark horse. And you can't say that to a black belt. You know, get out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Did you ever watch the show Balls of Steel? It was hosted by Mark Dolan, right? It was on Channel 4.
No.
It was hosted by Mark Dolan, and it was basically every week a bunch of out there comedians would do pretty crazy shit, and then they would compete for the Balls of Steel trophy.
Okay.
It was a lot of fun. Actually, another person I've become friends with used to be on that show, Nedge from that show. Over all of this. But you need to go and watch YouTube clips of the militant black guy on Balls of Steel, because he would purposely put himself in situations to which you are talking about, right? And he'd wear a proper militant Black Panther type uniform, and he'd ask people where was like the best place to go on holiday in the Northwest and stuff like that. And when they'd say Blackpool, he'd go off on one like, Blackpool, you talking about a pool just for black people, motherfucker.
Yeah, that's quite good.
He's called the militant black guy. I'm sure his clips are on YouTube. Okay. You need to go and watch it. It's so funny.
That's right. So here's another thing. Digital currency. And I know I keep bringing it up.
Down?
What?
But do we have to come? We're so high at the moment. Do we have to come down?
This is just a question. This is just a public service announcement. I think I've got to bring this out. So
go on then.
Just in case anyone has any doubt at all about digital currency, right? Remember, if we have nothing but digital currency, you can never go to a cash machine and get cash out.
No. You
can never take all your money out the bank, because all you could ever do would be to transfer it to another bank.
No, it would be there won't even be banks. You'll just hold wallets.
Yeah, so you can't, you never will touch cash again, and you can't actually get the money, and the money could be controlled at the flick of a switch. So you could have your credit stopped like that, literally that.
Yeah.
Whereas with cash, they can't do that.
Yeah.
That's why whenever I get my measly pension that I get every month, I go to the bank and I take the cash out. Because the bank I don't want the bank to know what I'm spending my money on. So all the bank sees is either two or three transactions from a hole in the wall, or one transaction from the bank. And that's it, the money's out. Yeah.
Well, I will say this, right?
Yeah.
I just want to go back to what we were just talking about, because Andrew's talking about Nedge.
Yeah.
I will say this for Nedge from Balls of Steel, right? Because the guy's a celebrity.
Yeah.
Technically speaking, he doesn't have to give anyone the time of day. But late last year, a friend of mine took his life, right? And he was a huge fan of Balls of Steel and a huge fan of Nedge. He used to emulate everything Nedge did.
Yeah.
And so Nedge sent through a video of condolence for him, his friends, all of our family. What a top guy, right? What a top guy. Didn't have to do that. It was really, really nice. And I'm sure my friend would have loved it.
Most of us already are slaves to that, Suzanne, to be fair.
Yeah, we just don't. Well, I say we just don't know it. Some of us know it.
Yeah, but some of us know it.
You're a slave to the 9 to 5, aren't you? At the end of the day, most people are slaves to you go to work, you go home, you eat, you sleep, you maybe procreate and repeat. You might get a holiday or two a year, and you don't have any aspirations to go beyond that, unfortunately, because you've been programmed pretty much from birth to think that that's fine, that's adequate, that's how you should be. That's what school's for, getting you in uniform, getting you ready for the workforce, getting you following the rules, being a nice little robot. That's what all of this is for. And unfortunately, most people fall for it. They don't aspire to more. They don't want more. And that's because they've been told not to want more, not to aspire to more. Just do your 9 to 5. Go home, be a little robot. Make sure you can maybe pay the bills or get into even more debt and be even more of a slave. But yeah, no, most people are a slave.
Yeah.
They're just a slave in a new way.
Yeah, Joy's right as well. Small businesses lose a lot of money through card payments, especially those tiny card payments. You know, like people use a card to pay for a donut and things like that, you know. It's crazy.
Well, why do you think social media is so damn popular? Because Harold said put it on Facebook. Because likes, shares, retweets, comments and that is a dopamine hit. It's a dopamine hit which keeps people content.
Yeah.
Right? They don't aspire to more. Suzanne says, I'm in London and it's finished. People are brainwashed. Suzanne, yeah. I don't know how long you've been following me, but back in the thick of it, I was in London pretty much 2 or 3 times a week. And I got called every name under the sun simply for going alongside a protest and filming them by the people on the sidewalk. They would call me every name under the sun. And I wasn't even partaking in the protest. Yes, they are brainwashed. Yes, they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, it was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. It's and I just hate being in London. If I can have any excuse not to go back there, please, I don't want to. I just don't like it. Sorry to say.
No, Harold says everyone sucks except us. No, that's not the case. We suck too.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, never think you're better than anyone else. Just because you have a different outlook doesn't make you any better. I mean, you might be, you might not, right? But don't think it, because if you start thinking you're better than anyone else, that means you're starting to put yourself in a different class.
Absolutely.
And that's really not where we want to be, is it?
No.
No.
No. No, we are not better than you. You are not better than us. You are not better than your neighbor. Nobody's better than anybody else. I mean, Joe Biden's not better than you. Rishi Sunak's not better than you. Just because they hold delusions of grandeur doesn't mean they are grand, right? These people are, no one's better than anybody else. And people who do think that they are really, really, really should take a good, long, hard look in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because... Yeah.
Okay. Right. I think we're getting towards the end. Yeah.
I think we are.
So
I think we are.
I think the last thing on my list is a castration club.
What?
Have you not heard about? I should read this to you. 3 Gwent. I think that's Wales. Gwent.
Mm-hmm.
Gwent men have appeared in court accused of carrying out castrations on other men and broadcasting the footage live. Ashley Williams. What?
Castrations or circumcisions?
If you let me read it out.
All right, carry on.
Ashley Williams, 31. David Carruthers, 60. Both of Lyndhurst Avenue, Newport. And Janus, or Janus, Janus, Janus Atkins, 37, of Brunley's Mews, Newport, appeared before the city's magistrate court. They are among 9 men charged over extreme body modifications after footage of genital castrations was allegedly broadcast to a paying audience.
I don't doubt it.
There's maybe
I don't doubt it.
Maybe we're in the wrong business there.
I will say this: those extreme body modification people are really, really, really bad. They're weird. And so, do you know there are people who get their tongue split just so they can do that?
Yeah. You seen that stupid guy that thinks he's a dragon?
The one that went on Jeremy Kyle.
Yeah, I don't know if he went on Jeremy Kyle. I did not watch that shit. Marius Gustafus, oh fucking hell, Gustafsson or whatever, 45, is alleged to be the ringleader for wide-ranging conspiracy, got to get that word in, who performed extreme modifications including the removal of penises and testicles. The procedures were filmed and uploaded to the Eunuch Maker website.
There's a fucking website specifically dedicated to this.
And subscribers should pay to watch. The Metropolitan Police say the charges relate to 13 alleged victims.
Well,
Gustafsson from Tottenham, North London, is charged with conspiracy to cause grievous bodily harm with intent.
yeah, but the question is, and I have a question, because it kind of relates to what Harold just said in the chat. He says, but even worse, who pays to get it done? Were these things done with consent?
Yeah. That's the thing. These things are done with consent. Yeah. The GBH charges and
This is
the
shaky
problem.
ground then.
Yeah, well, the charges. It's very difficult to make this a kind of criminal thing when there's no complainer. So the GBH charges include the removal of a man's penis, the clamping of another's testicles, and the freezing of a leg which required amputation. Right, but if they're done with consent, right? Because people are mental. People are mental.
Yeah.
Do you remember the German guy that advertised for someone to be eaten?
Yeah.
And somebody turned up for dinner.
Yes. Yes.
I am going to eat you. And the guy was all for
The world is nuts, isn't it?
Funny you should use that term. Because some of these guys aren't anymore. They're nuts in a little poly bag or in a jar on the mantelpiece.
Julie C asks, can I have a GoFundMe for a log cabin in the woods to get us out of... She's in Newport, please.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you what, Julie, get it started and we'll get it shared. Get it started and we'll get it shared.
See, this is the problem. You don't have a freaking clue who's what's going on. I mean, it gets worse, though. It gets worse, right? The court held that Gustafsson, right, who's the ringleader, remember, who appeared in the dock in a wheelchair, right, has had his own leg, penis, and nipple removed.
So is he also one of the victims?
Yeah, yes, he's a ringleader and a customer. You gotta laugh at this shit because it's just so fucking out there. This is like 29 incidents this guy's got involved with, right? So he's alleged to be involved with 9 of the 29 incidents, while a Romanian named Ion Secur, 28, who works in a hotel in Gretna Green, which is in Scotland, is said to be involved in 2. It's absolutely mental.
I mean, they could probably get him on performing surgery without a license.
Possibly.
I don't know.
None of them have entered any plea to the charges and they've all been remanded in custody.
They've been remanded?
Well, they're all...
I mean, I guess they're kind of a danger.
Well, yeah. The group is said to have been part of a society in which people willingly undergo extreme body modification.
Exactly.
The practice is linked to a subculture where men become nullos, short for genital nullification, by having their penis and testicles removed. The Met said...
Are they already incels when they do this, and they just had enough?
I don't know, but the Met said in a statement, we encourage anyone who's had similar experience to seek medical advice.
It doesn't grow back. I'm just giving you a bit of sound medical advice. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a scientist, but I'm pretty sure you're not a starfish.
Oh, freaking mental! What can you do with that?
I mean, Harold says it's similar to trans in a way.
No,
And
I think this is a
certainly
bit.
see-
I think this is a bit more like. This is these people with body dysmorphia and things like that, isn't it? It could be a bit like that.
Yeah, I'll lean back to the example of, remember that psychiatrist in the United States who didn't get prosecuted?
Yes.
For helping pour chemicals in his client's eyes because she wanted to identify as blind.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, should he have been prosecuted because he wasn't providing the psychiatric care that she needed?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so.
Instead, he thought, I know what I'll do. I'll get the bleach out, boys. Open up.
Yeah.
I mean,
but there you go. So there you go.
I think that is indeed our show for tonight. And anyone who did stick the course, thank you very much. Of course, this one is also always very different to Monday and Wednesday.
Yeah.
We just go all in, and that's why it's called All In.
We don't normally. Well, it's not self-harm if someone else is doing it to you, Julie.
Next Friday, I will be able to report upon the Dungeons and Dragons movie, and I will give you a little rundown of that. But also next Monday and Wednesday, we need to work the times out for when the shows are going to be. But we will update you via Twitter. And obviously, the second we know, it'll be scheduled.
Things are changing on both sides here because Ben's going on holiday, and I've got relocations to do. So
you're doing them, are you?
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll over the next 2 weeks we'll be moving, lock, stock, and barrel. Good. So then, well, and that's quite interesting. Teresa says, "Thank you both. I've done it now sober, so it'd be interesting to see if you think it's worthwhile while sober."
Welcome to my world.
We should be sending out drinking instructions to people before they come to the show.
Won't you come on in?
I was thinking, should I grow a beard? Should I grow a full beard?
I just took mine off.
Yeah, I know you did. Well, you didn't have a full beard.
But the vast amount of facial hair for me that I did have, it's gone.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, should I try it just for a laugh? I don't know. Anyway,
why not? So Andrew says, "Superb guys, well done, room."
Cheers.
John, I think the show's gone down.
Looks like it. What can I say?
What's going on?
We've not dropped any frames.
So why has it gone down?
Don't know. It's YouTube.
Have we been struck?
It says excellent connection.
Yeah. Let me reboot it. There's excellent connection. Connecting stream software to go.
No, it's running.
I think we're back. We're back.
Yeah, it's running. It's just it was YouTube. We have dropped for this episode, because remember we had a bit of a glitchy stuff the last time. I made sure everything was shut down. The CPU has been running at 1.7% for all the time.
Beautiful.
Right? We have dropped exactly 0 frames in the last 2 hours. And the kilobyte stream is sitting at 6289.
And we have lost exactly 1 subscriber throughout the course of the show.
Oh, that's nice. That's
really lovely.
Nice. Yeah.
That's lovely, isn't it?
Fucking arsehole.
So if you're not subscribed to the channel, then please feel free to do so. And if you want to subscribe on Patreon or Ko-fi, links are in the chat. Links are in the description. We would really appreciate it, but if you can't afford it, we totally understand. John.
And with that, I'd like to thank you one and all for attending this, except for the guy who's unsubscribed. Episode 25 of Friday Night All In with John and Ben. It's been great. For you.
You can see the writing on the night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.